Now, this is some exclusive information because whether you have been in business for a year or 6 months and you don't really have sales like that, you can still qualify for this no documentation line of credit, in fact, okay? Welcome, beautiful people. 𝐿𝐵𝐵 here, and I am back with another video, you guys. And yes, I am in my car today because you know what, life is not perfect, and if I allow my daily circumstances to dictate like the actions that I make. I had some other plans, but things weren't really going exactly how it was supposed to go, and all these things, and people weren't doing what they were supposed to do, and so I ended up being in a place longer than what I expected today. So bear with me today. I'll be in my car, but I did not want to put this video off anymore. I've been putting this video off and off for the longest now, and you guys may have been wondering as well, where have I been, you guys? And I've just been taking care of myself. I've just been taking care of myself and taking care of my soon coming baby. Some of you guys know that I'm expecting this year. Things are changing, and life is changing, and so I've just been taking some needed rest and all of that. So I'm trying not to really push myself too much during this season, but I'm back with another gem dropping video. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. On this channel, I share lifestyle, business, and side hustle gems. And if you are not new here, welcome back, and I'm back. Okay, I have not fully disappeared, but in today's episode I wanted to share with you a loan program that you can consider for your business, whether or not you have documentation. So whether you have been in business for a year or 6 months and you don't really have sales like that, you can still qualify for this no documentation business loan up to 100K. Now, this is some exclusive information, okay, but I just wanted to share an additional resource with you for those of you who haven't been in business for that long. And I know a lot of you have been asking me, hey, how do I qualify for a loan if I am not making 10K per month? Because yes, in the past I've also shared other business lending solutions out there that it's simple to get approved for, whether or not you have a 580 score, 550 score. However, sometimes they do require you to have some type of revenue coming in. But in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing one solution out there that you can look into to get a no documentation business loan, a line of credit, in fact, okay, a line of credit which is revolving. If you're familiar with the different types of loans, credit, and all of that, you may know what a line of credit is. This is where it's revolving. You only pay back what you have used. So if you have been approved for, let's say, a 50K line of credit and you only use 10K, or you only drew 10K out, you will only be paying back that 10K and not 50K. So that's one of the beautiful things about lines of credit. It's revolving. You take money out, you put it back, you take money out, versus just a term loan where you get a lump sum and then you have to just pay it back over time, whether 3 years or 5 years. A line of credit is ideal for businesses, okay, because you just never know when you're gonna need to pull that cash out. Now, before we get into the loan program that I want to discuss with you, there are 5 key things as a business owner or a small business owner. There are 5 key things that you want to keep in mind, that you want to have in place. All right, so before we even get into the loan program that I want to talk about, it is very important to keep in mind 5 key things that you may need before you start applying for loans and grants. All right, so let me just jump right into those things. One of the first things is you want to secure or figure out what the business address is that you're going to be using. Bear with me, it may sound backwards, but just trust me, I've been doing this for a while now. All right, so you want to secure the business location or consider the business address that you'll be using, particularly, especially if you are going to have, let's say, an online type of business, like a virtual type of business, okay? Because one of the things that I see a lot of people get into is that they immediately form the business without having any idea of what business address they're going to be using. And because they're filing their business entity, guess what? You need a business address to also be included on the application, and most people end up just putting their personal address. But you don't want to do that because your personal address is going to be public. Your business address, your business information is public information. So if you don't want the public to know where you live, do not put your private address, okay, your primary residency. One of the things that you can do is that you can let's say you don't yet have a brick and mortar location, or let's say that you don't have a brick and mortar business, you can get what is called a virtual address, preferably one that, I hope you guys can hear me because I have my AC up. It is hot in Texas, okay? Preferably one that does not register as a mail receiving address. So for example, I've talked about this before. Feel free to check out this video here where I talked about the best virtual addresses to consider. Now, I think in a past video I talked about iPostal as one. I would not recommend iPostal as a virtual address right now because it does register as a mail receiving location, and they'll give you a PO box and all of that. And a lot of times when you go to apply for credit, or when you go to apply for your Dun & Bradstreet number, we'll get into that later, they do not accept PO box addresses. Okay, and you'll find that a lot. So you want to get a virtual address that registers as an actual physical, just an office location with possibly like a suite or something like that. Again, you can check out one of these videos here to learn more about the different virtual addresses that I recommend. And a virtual address basically is somewhere you can just have your mail sent to. You can go pick it up a lot of times, or you can have it scanned to you. Sometimes they offer receptionist services or fax services, and you can have people answer the phone for you and all of that good stuff. And sometimes you can also use the offices as a co-working space. All right, so that's one of the reasons why I suggest getting a virtual address. Okay, so now that you have secured your virtual address, if you have not yet secured a business entity, you want to go ahead and do that. Now, a very common business entity is an LLC, a limited liability company, right? And most businesses do that because it's simple to set up, it's not that expensive, and it does separate your liability. Now, as a business owner, especially if you're planning to grow your business or apply for credit and all of that, you definitely want to separate your personal assets and your personal liabilities from your business assets and your business liabilities. All right, I know a lot of you guys have asked me before about the sole proprietorship and all of that. That's cool and everything, but there are some lenders who may not lend to you because you're a sole proprietorship. There are some that you may be able to get away with, mostly creditors. Sometimes you'll be able to still maybe get a couple of credit cards or so, but if you're truly planning to grow your business and scale your business, you want to consider setting up a business entity that is deemed best for you. I personally suggest speaking with a business tax professional or a business attorney to figure out what is the best entity for your business. If you're doing a partnership, right, you have the multi-partner LLC or the LLP, you know, you can opt in to be taxed as an S corporation or a C corporation, even as an LLC. So this is not me giving any tax advice here or any legal advice here, okay? Definitely speak with your CPA to figure out what business entity is deemed best for you, but you definitely want to make sure that you're separating yourself from your business. Okay, if anything happens and you get into debt and all of that, you don't want you'll still somewhat be tied to it, but not so much when it's separated. Now, this is me giving just extra information. Now, if you've been following like tax codes, tax laws and stuff like that, and tax benefits for businesses, you may have heard here and there that setting up like an S corporation or being taxed as an S corp is somewhat beneficial. Again, speak with your CPA. It depends on what you're bringing in. A lot of times most CPAs would recommend opting in to be taxed as an S corporation if you're earning like more than $40,000 per year. Again, speak with your CPA. I'll keep saying that. Let's say you went to apply for your LLC. When you go to apply for your EIN number, which is the next step, you want to apply for your EIN, which stands for your employer identification number. When you go to do that, immediately they will ask you if you want to be taxed, how you want to be taxed basically. If you want to be taxed as an S corporation or not, you can immediately select it there. Yes, even as an LLC business, you can still opt in to be taxed as an S corporation. Okay, you can go do your research on like the tax benefits on that, or just go ask your CPA. If you skip that step and you already did your EIN and you already applied for your EIN and you didn't opt in to be taxed as an S corporation, and then let's say if later on figured out that an S corporation was indeed better for me, you can still go ahead online to the irs.gov and go fill out that S corporation classification form. Typically, the IRS wants you to do it within 75 days of forming that business entity. However, even if you're past the 75 days, even if you're maybe like a year, trust me, I've done this before as well. Speaking from experience, even if it has passed like a year or so, you can still fill out that form. There will be a section on the form as well asking why you are filing this date, and you can just put that reason there on the form. Your EIN is free to apply for. It's easy to apply for. Just go to the irs.gov, apply for EIN number. You can do this Monday through Friday from about 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to about 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Even though it's online, you cannot do it over the weekend. Okay, you have to do it within the week, and you get it almost instantaneously. You get that letter, I think it's the SS4 form, that you will need as well if you're going to open a business bank account. Okay, and that brings me to one of the next things that you will need. Okay, so we talked about the business address, the LLC or whatever business entity that you deem is best for you. Then you have your EIN, then you have your business bank account. All right, a lot of creditors or a lot of business lenders will want you to have a business bank account, and just personally, honestly, you don't want to be putting everything together. You don't want to be mixing your personal income and expenses and all of that with your business income and expenses, right? Nobody wants that confusion, and trust me, your CPA will thank you. You need to have a business bank account, have it separated. It makes life so much easier for you when it's tax time or just quarterly, to be able to, you know, create those profit and loss statements, balance sheets, and all of that, just to make sure that you're separating everything. Okay, and some business lenders, a lot of business lending solutions or a lot of business lenders want to see your business bank statements, right? 3 months, 6 months, whichever, whether or not they require a lot of revenue or not, they want to see a business bank statement. So please, please, please make sure that you are setting up a business bank account. You can check out this video here to learn more about some of the business bank accounts that I suggest or that you can consider for your business, right? Another thing is you want to have your Dun & Bradstreet number, your DUNS number, okay? And I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about this. What is a DUNS number? It basically stands for your Data Universal Numbering System. This is what identifies the existence of your business globally. Now, it may sound foreign to you if you're completely new to this, but trust me, you will need your DUNS number if you plan on applying for any type of loan or any type of corporate leasing. If you plan on leasing a building or leasing an apartment or anything like that for your business, a lot of times corporations are going to want your DUNS number. It's almost like your EIN number, but it is not. It is completely different. Your EIN number is used for, you know, like tax purposes and all of that. Your DUNS number is used for credit and trade line purposes. Now, when you apply for your DUNS number, you'll have access to like the DUNS platform, the DUNS manager, and all of that. You'll be able to track all the trade lines that you have through under Dun & Bradstreet. With the Data Universal Numbering System, that generates what's called like a PAYDEX score. Anything over 80 is considered really good and excellent, and you can achieve an 80 PAYDEX score in no time, you guys. I help my clients with this all the time. Within 90 days, you can do this. You just want to make sure that you are leveraging the right trade lines, okay, so you can get your PAYDEX score. But there are also other business credit building, you know, factors and business credit agencies out there like Experian Business, Equifax, and a lot of other ones, but those are like the main ones, okay? Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business, and TransUnion. You have the Small Business Financial Exchange as well, but that's kind of like a database and not so much a credit reporting agency, but we'll get into that in another video. But you definitely want to get your DUNS number. Sometimes as well, if you go to apply for grants, okay, not just loans and not just credit cards, but even grants, a lot of grant companies will require you to have your DUNS number. I'll have the link in my description below as well, where you can just go ahead and apply for your DUNS number for free. You can also pay for it as well if you want it expedited, because it can take a while, maybe up to 30 days. It all depends on what's happening, but I'll have that link for you in the description below. Additionally, I will have a business free launch guide for you. So if you're just launching a business, I have a business free launch kit for you below. And if you're trying to build business credit, I'll have another guide for you as well in my description below, where I get into not just the steps in the process of launching an official business, but also how you can build solid business credit in about 90 days. But it also talks about, you know, dozens of creditors and trade lines that you can apply for, whether you're trying to get a commercial loan, you know, an auto loan, lines of credit, credit cards, all of that good stuff. It will be in that guide, okay? So Again, there'll be two guides. There'll be a free guide, the business starter kit guide. That's for just if you're launching a business. And then you have the in-depth business credit building guide. So those are the main things that you want. Okay, and additionally, you may want to have a business phone number as well. Whether that's getting a free Google Voice number, I no longer really recommend it just because it's not that dope, but it's free. Okay, you can take out a second phone line with your cell phone service provider. All right, and preferably you want to do that prior to forming the actual business, because that's one of the things that may be needed on the application: the business address and the business phone number. Okay, when it comes to filing your LLC or whatever business entity, you can use whether a business attorney, you can do it yourself online through your state.gov website to form the business, or you can use platforms like ink-file. They do it for you for free, with the exception of the state fee. So if your state charges $100 or $50, they will charge you that fee that the state charges, regardless, okay, of whether or not you use them, and then the service will be free. I strongly suggest ink-file just because it's super simple, and you also have the option to get a registered agent as well through them. And this video is not sponsored by ink-file, by the way. You can also use services like LegalZoom. They're more expensive because they will charge you an additional fee in addition to the state fee. But again, there's so many different services out there. There's Taylor Brands. I'll have a discount code for you below for Taylor Brands as well if you choose to go that route. The good thing with Taylor Brands is they're kind of like an all-in-one platform, because they allow you to create a business website, a logo, and all sorts of things, in addition to like getting your business entity set up. All right, so those are like the main things, the 5 main things that you want to be in place before you start applying for a business loan. Okay, there are more things that you can consider, like a website and all of that good stuff, email address, but again, you can check that out in my guides that I'll have in the description below. All right, now that you have all of that set up, you are ready to apply for grants or business loans. Now, one of the companies that I want to talk about today is Funding Pilot. Now, Funding Pilot is offering no documentation business loans, lines of credit up to $250,000, minimum APR about 9.99%. Now, how this works is that they don't require any documentation, and there's no minimum time in business needed. All you have to do is have at least a 680 plus credit score. If you do have a co-signer, that works as well. Now, once you go over to fundingpilot.com, you'll go over to the business line of credit or the business loan section, and you will find the you'll realize, first of all, that they have so many different loan options, okay? From real estate loans, term loans, equipment loans, all types of loans that you can think of. But in today's episode, we're talking about their no documentation business loan, where you can be funded in as little as 2 to 7 business days. Okay, it's very simple. There's no minimum time in business needed, and there's no documentation needed. Again, all you need is at least a 680 credit score, and they're offering up to a $250,000 line of credit. Once you go over to their website, you can learn a lot more about their funding program and their funding options available. There's also customer support, just in case if you need to get in contact with someone right away. Okay, so this is a great way to leverage. Yes, you're leveraging your personal credit in this regard, but there are a lot of circumstances, not saying that's the case with Funding Pilot, but there are a lot of business lending solutions where they may want to see your personal credit score, or they may want you to have a certain personal credit score, but they won't necessarily report the business loan to your personal credit report, except or unless you like default. But a lot of times they want to know that the business owner, especially when they're doing no documentation loans, they want to see that you are somewhat financially responsible. So that's why sometimes they may require you to have a certain personal credit score. Again, you can check out these videos here if you want to learn more about the ones that don't require a high credit score. So there you have it. If you are, let's say, just starting out in business, or you've been in business for a while, and you have pretty decent credit, 680 or more, and you don't want to have to worry about the documentation stuff, having to make a certain amount of revenue per year or per month, this may be a good option for you, just because you don't have to worry about financial documentation. And I know some people say that they don't want to use their personal credit at all whatsoever, and there may be options out there for you, but just know that especially sometimes when you're just starting out, you may have to leverage your personal credit in the beginning. Okay, as it relates to building business credit, there are options for getting approved for certain credit cards and getting approved for certain vendors without pulling your personal credit. But when you're talking about bigger loans, especially if you have not been in business for a long time and you don't have a lot of like trade lines to prove yourself, to prove that you pay back your loans and all of that on time, you may need to leverage your personal credit. So there's different ways to do this, you guys. You just have to do what is best for you. But this resource that I'm sharing with you is definitely one to consider. Again, you can just go to fundingpilot.com. They have a ton of resources on there and a ton of different loan programs that may work for you. Even if it's not this no documentation type of loan, they do have other funding options available. All right, y'all, I hope you found today's episode valuable. I shared with you 5 things that you may need before you try to apply for grants or business loans and business credit cards. And then I also shared with you a business lending solution that you can consider for your business, regardless of the time that you have been in business and regardless of your business revenue. All right, so if you like today's episode, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also, let me know if today I shared with you anything that really stuck out to you. If you have any questions business wise or business credit wise, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I do try to check all of my comments and questions and all of that, so I'll try my best to get back to them. I promise I won't always be in my car. But if you want more gem dropping videos like these, be sure to hit that subscription button and the notification bell as well. That way whenever I post a new video, you'll be the first to know. Again, it's your girl 𝐿𝐲. It was an absolute pleasure, and let's continue to grow those businesses and get financially healthy together. And I'll see you guys later. Be blessed. Bye.